Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome to the Negotiate Your Offer presentation. My name is Lauren Barlow and I am a career counselor at Widener University. So today we're going to talk about a negotiation that typically happens after a job offer has been made. So I usually like to start this by asking, what is a negotiation? And then when, like anything I have a question about, I go to Google and I ask that question. So according to Google, a negotiation is a conversation with the goal of finding a mutually acceptable solution to a problem or issue between two people who both want different things. So in my opinion, the most important word in that definition is the word conversation. We have conversations all day long, every day, right? So a negotiation is nothing more than just a chat with someone where you want something and they want something, and you guys just need to talk it out to find something that is, again, mutually agreeable, something in the middle. So if this is just a conversation, like why is it so hard? Everybody is very nervous usually about having the salary conversation with an employer or a future employer. So these are just a couple reasons, this being hard is not something that's unfounded. There's a couple reasons why this is so hard. It is generally uncomfortable to talk about money. And I think that's because in our culture, it's usually something that is frowned upon. It's viewed as like tacky and just not very socially acceptable. So that makes this conversation hard because we don't really practice talking about money because usually we're taught like, don't do that. Don't ever ask anybody how much money they make. So this process, when you're discussing money, especially in a high pressure salary negotiation, it can cause some anxiety. So a lot of people just don't do it. This is another reason why we're a little unprepared for this conversation, again, because it's not something commonly talked about. So it's not something that we readily practice. If you're an undergraduate, which I believe both of you are, when you become seniors, recent graduates have a hard time balancing between, wanting to get a job and wanting to get that very valuable experience for their first job out of college, but also wanting a certain salary. So sometimes it's tough to strike that balance. There is unconscious bias out there that exists for certain interviewers. Like they may assume that because I'm a woman, I'm not going to negotiate my salary. Or when I do, there might be some unconscious bias that people think differently when I do it as opposed to when someone else would do it. So it's just nice to note that those do exist, although it's not nice that they exist. Sometimes you have the inability to protect your previous salary information. So if you have to set an anchor, like in the application, or if they put you on the spot and you set an anchor, that makes it tough to negotiate yourself out of that. And we'll talk about how to try and avoid that from happening in a couple of slides. And also sometimes, especially when we're new professionals, we don't have a full understanding of our value and how to leverage that during this negotiation process. So let's learn a little more about our value. So what does your value look like? Your value looks like your previous salary information or general salary data if you don't have salary data from another full-time position. So general data that exists out there about the role and the level and the location in which this job will be. Your unique qualifications, skills, and backgrounds adds to your value. And then understanding some information about the employer. Are they on a tight hiring time frame? Will you be filling a long-term vacancy? Is this position critical to the way that they operate? Will your reputation and connections bring more notoriety to the company? And the last two might be for future you once you've been an established professional. But if the answer is yes, they're on a tight hiring time frame, yes, this has been a long-term vacancy, yes, this is crucial to the way they operate, your value goes up because now they have found a candidate that they really like, so they might be more willing to negotiate in those situations. So the places where a salary conversation can come up it can come up in three different places: the application, the interview, and the job offer. So the goal is always to try not to talk about salary until they've given you an offer. They say, Lambert, we would like you to be our CPA and we're going to pay you $60,000 a year, whatever. then you have that's when your value is the highest, and that's when it's a good time to negotiate. So initially you want to protect your salary expectations. So don't discuss salary until the offer's been made. Don't set an anchor, which is giving a specific figure. And you really want to do this because you want to wait until you have enough time to understand your leverage and until you have enough leverage. So at the end of an interview, the employer has a full picture of your experiences, your value, the benefits of hiring you, and you have a full understanding of what is required of you as a new accountant in whatever company, right? So now you guys both have the most advantageous information possible to go into this salary conversation. And this is just a graph that shows the best time to negotiate a salary is after the offer is made. So I mentioned 3 times salary can come up. So if it comes up in the application, in Pennsylvania, they cannot ask you on the application for previous salary information. They can ask you for your salary expectations. So if you do stumble across an application that does ask you for salary expectations and you're not quite comfortable giving a figure, you can put negotiable in that kind of block on the application. If it won't let you type and it just needs numbers, you could put, 0 or 0.01. And then that kind of lets them know that you don't want to talk about it in the application. If you would like to provide a range, because you want to make sure, if you want to provide a figure because you want to make sure that you don't want to waste your time applying for a job if they can't meet your salary requirements, then you could place a figure in that area, and it should be a figure in the middle of a really well-researched range. Networking is key, but networking is key with everything involving salary negotiation and interviewing. But if you have the ability to talk to somebody who works for that company, you could ask them, how did you fill this out in the application? Or, what are they really looking for here? And then that could help you kind of decide which of these options would be the best for you. A little disclaimer as well, if you do put a figure, you could also add some information in your cover letter saying, I stated this figure in my application, but it's completely negotiable and I'm really focused on the entire opportunity and the compensation package, just to let the employer know that you're expecting to negotiate that number. Okay. So what happens if you're asked about salary during the interview? So don't worry, you don't have to be like this little puppy dog here. If you're asked about salary during the interview, some HR professionals just want to make sure you're not wasting each other's time. So if you're expecting to make 40 grand and their range only goes up to like 25, like those two ships will never meet, like you guys won't be able to come to an agreement where that large of a gap is something that you would be comfortable with. And it's best to know that as early on as possible. So if you feel comfortable, if it's brought up in the interview, you can disclose a range, a well-researched range. But if you're not ready to discuss salary, we have some other options here. I will give you guys a copy of the presentation when you're done. I'll email it to you tomorrow. Good question. Okay. You're welcome. Okay, so if you're asked about salary during the interview, you could say something by you want to answer the real question that they're asking you, which the real question is, are we wasting each other's time? So you could say something like, I'm focused on this opportunity and the total compensation package. I'm confident that we can agree on a salary when the time is right. And then you want to kind of shift the conversation away from the salary negotiation topic while still talking about, the job at hand. And the easiest way to do that is by asking a question. You could ask, what are the top 3 skills you're hoping to find in a potential employee? Why do you enjoy working for this organization? Just anything to kind of like hop off of the salary topic. So if you do that and the employer says, I like working for this organization because I have a lot of fun here every day. And then they say to you, they kind of hop back to the salary conversation and they press a little bit more. At this point, you don't want to deflect the question again because it just seems a little bit rude or off-putting. So at this point, you would want to provide a well-researched range. So according to my research on salary.com, a range for this position is between blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. My salary expectations are within that range. So now you've given a range, you haven't set an anchor. You then also want to move the conversation to another topic other than salary by asking a question, and hopefully that'll be sufficient enough to continue on with the interview. Okay, so now we've reached the best possible scenario. So you have received the job offer, and now what? So do your happy dance. Stay poised though. You don't necessarily have to do the Will Smith happy dance in front of people. Stay poised, positive, and friendly. So you don't want to say yes right away. You'd want to say something like, I am so excited to receive this job offer. When do you need an answer by? So this will be a very common thing that employers are very used to hearing. And usually the time frame that they'll give a candidate to consider an offer is between 3 and 5 days, depending on the organization. You want to get all of the offer details in writing. So you want to make sure that you have the figure that they're offering you in writing, as well as the entire benefits package. And so preparation begins with these kind of 3 steps, which is 1, asking for a contact to someone in human resources so you can get all of that salary and benefits information for you to kind of like assess as you go into your negotiation preparation. You want to assess the offer, and then you want to reflect on your values and prioritize your asks based on your values. For example, if they offer you a salary as a first year graduate and you're very happy with that salary, it's something that meets your expectations, you might want to consider asking for other things like the opportunity to work remotely, or the opportunity to receive professional development by being a member of a professional association that's in line with your industry, something to that effect. But again, you want to reflect on your values and think about what is most important to you, and then you prioritize your asks. So you want to ask for the thing that's most important to you first, and then go down your list based on that. And then once you have this, it's time to do your research. These are some examples of other areas of a job offer that might be negotiable depending on the organization. This is also really helpful too, where networking comes into play to get an idea, of what is usually negotiated in an offer. So obviously salary, start date, schedule, remote work are options. A signing bonus could also be something that is negotiated. The opportunity to revisit salary in the future, level of responsibility, title, professional development, trainings, conferences, asking the employer to cover fees for licensing or certification renewal, different aspects of the benefits package, healthcare, time off, pension, tuition, childcare, transportation, moving costs, depending on where if you are moving, and the opportunity for them to cover equipment. Like if you're going to be driving all around, could they let you use a company car? Could they provide a computer? When I started my new job at Drexel University, it was my first job out of grad school. They gave every new employee at Drexel a computer, which was, I thought, really, really nice. These are just some fun facts. So did you know that employers expect you to negotiate something? They're expecting you to ask for at least one thing. They don't always lead with their final offer, so there could be some wiggle room. Corporations or large businesses may provide between $5,000 and $10,000 of wiggle room. This is for professionals that have been working in a field for a little while. As you see, the recent grad wiggle room is usually between $500 and $1,000. Nonprofits provide wiggle room between $2,500 and $5,000. And I had this on the other slide, but most employers will give you 3 to 5 business days to consider the final offer, or to consider the offer, sorry. All right, so things to consider when preparing for a negotiation. And this is where your values come into play. So what do you want and what are you willing to accept? Like, what is your range? What is the market price and the going rate? And on the next slide, I'll give you guys some salary resources to help you figure out those figures. Where does your value come into play? So when we get down to the salary negotiation conversation, you need to have an understanding of why you're valuable to this company. And you need to be able to kind of express that in the negotiation when you're asking for something. As I mentioned, prioritize your asks. So your ask leverage decreases with each ask that you present. So you want to think about building your case. So with each ask, you want to explain your reasoning for the ask, but in relation to the employer's goals and in relation to how what you're asking for will benefit the organization. And the last thing that you want to do before you have this conversation is practice. I tell students sometimes, and I've done this once I went on this salary negotiation journey like a couple of years ago because I learned about this and I'm like, I can't believe I've never done this. I need to do this. And a good way to practice negotiating is to, if you happen to have a Comcast bill or any kind of cable provider, or if you have any type of insurance like car insurance, I don't know if you guys would have home insurance at this point, but calling up a representative from one of those companies and just practicing asking for something, backing it up with facts, and then just being silent and waiting for them to respond to you is a great way to practice negotiating. The worst thing that they can do is they won't do anything for you, but the best thing that could happen is you could save a couple $100, which is what I did a couple summers ago when I renegotiated our home insurance. My husband was thrilled. Okay, values assessment, we kind of talked about this. So again, prioritizing, what is most important to you at the time of the offer and understanding that that might change based on the job and based on the offer that you are provided. These are a few salary research resources. Glassdoor, I always say take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. That's self-reported figures. Payscale.com and salary.com are my favorites because you can really tailor the range of salary that these websites provide based on you. So they ask questions like location, your level of experience. It might ask if you have any like certifications or anything that would put you kind of like in a different class than other candidates. So those are my two favorite. LinkedIn, if they have enough data for a certain job, the salary data is strong, but it's a relatively new feature on LinkedIn. So some jobs, some industries just don't have enough data. And so it might not be as accurate as like PayScale or Salary just yet. ONET Online is a website created by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So they also have salary information located on that site for each job title that they have on the site. ONET features, it's something like, it's almost 10,000 different job titles. So it's definitely worth checking out. Additional resources, some professional associations produce salary surveys. I know like in my industry, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, they produce a salary survey every year, and it's actually for college students. So showing, what do engineering students make when they first graduate? What do communication students make when they first graduate? So those are helpful numbers to have. As I mentioned a whole bunch of times, networking. So talking to other people, mentors, friends, colleagues, family members. I know it's tough to talk about money, but if you're talking to a trusted colleague, if you're talking to a trusted family member, just letting them know, I'm preparing for an interview and I'm trying to learn a little bit more about salaries in this certain area. Could you tell me a little bit about what you know? Somebody's going to be, one, flattered that you would even ask them, and two, willing to help you, because we've all struggled through this, and why not help somebody when they're first starting out? Sometimes job postings place a salary range on the posting, so that's definitely good to look at. Just so, if you wouldn't be asking for something that's outside of the range that's posted on the job description. And nonprofits have to file a 990 public tax return that lists the salary of the people that work, not the people, but the position titles that work for those organizations. So that can give you an idea of, for that specific organization, what the social media coordinator makes versus what the, vice president makes, or whatever job titles are there. Okay. So here we go. We're getting down to the conversation outline. So this is how we can ask very nicely to negotiate certain aspects of the job offer without coming across as aggressive or ungrateful, but we're just having a conversation with somebody. This is a 5-step process. Step 1, when you sit down to have the salary conversation, you want to confirm your interest in the position and express however many areas of the job offer that you would like to discuss. I wouldn't recommend discussing over more than 3. And remember, they're expecting you to ask for something, so definitely ask for one thing. Step 2 is to present your first ask. Step 3 is to back up that ask with data about your value, and then if it's salary data that exists out there, the salary data. And so when you're talking about your value, you want to make sure that you're making it about them, not you. It's not like you need to pay me more so that I can have a really posh life for my dog. It's like, no, you want to explain that if you're asking for salary, you've researched this range and you were hoping to be paid in this range. After you've presented your ask, you want to be quiet. So you want to just let it be and not say anything. When you're done speaking and it's quiet, the employer will know that it is their turn to respond to what you've just said. And then no matter how they respond, yes, no, maybe so, you just express gratitude, and then you repeat steps. You go back up to step 2 if you're asking for more than one area of the offer to be negotiated. So step 3 is kind of the toughest part, as I'm sure you guys might be thinking. And step 3 is really a value statement. So there are 3 parts to a value statement. So you want to explain your accomplishments, you want to explain the skills that you're bringing to this job, and you want to explain the results of your work. All of this, again, through the lens of your new role. So everybody is going to communicate this a little bit differently, but I've just kind of provided an example of what steps 2 and 3 could look like. So the first part of the offer I would like to discuss is the salary. At my previous position, I used my problem solving and program development skills to create a program that not only improved student learning outcomes, but also provided professional development for our staff. I expect to experience similar results in this role. I was wondering if the salary could be increased by $5,000. Or maybe you could say, for this reason, I was wondering if the salary could be increased by $5,000. Silence. They'll say something, and then you say, okay, that's good to know, thank you, and you move on. Okay. I'm going to pause this recording really quickly. Okay, so final tips for negotiating your offer. Don't do this over email or voicemail. Try your very best to do it in real time. In person, Zoom, those would probably be the two best options just because everybody can see each other's face. Phone would make me a little nervous just because it's tough to see nonverbal cues on the phone. You want to make your asks, hold firm without making ultimatums, embrace silence, wait until you have the most leverage to negotiate if possible, which is after the offer has been made. Ask for something, do your research, and practice, practice, practice. Call Comcast, call your insurance company, practice with your dog. Just be comfortable talking about money. All right. This is our contact info. If you guys need to schedule an appointment, you can email careers@widener.edu. And that was it. I'm going to stop recording. If yes, you will receive one call.